entry so I can keep stuff out of the back porch during the winter.
The one out the kid, like, next-
Yeah, yeah.
oh, that's a good idea.
I strapped down the cover to the fire pit.
Hey, Steve.
Good evening, everyone.
How you doing, Steve?
Good, how are you?
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
How you doing, Steve?
Good, how are you?
Okay.
Hey, Joe, you just keep that snow where it is there, okay?
Okay. That was the start of the snow. I believe they got, I think they have like 2 feet on the ground now. It's incredible.
Wow.
You'd think of Alaska being snowy, but it's kind of unusual for them to have that much snow, so. I believe they got, I think they have like 2 feet on the ground now. It's incredible. Wow. You'd think of Alaska being snowy, but it's kind of unusual for them to have that much snow, so. I believe they got,
Okay, I hear Plano, Dudley, Nimick.
How come I can't see them?
I don't know. Says no signal on the front.
Oh, because I can plug this in all the way.
Hey, am I the only one getting some bad feedback?
I'm getting it too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit.
Yeah, I'm getting it. I just had to move to see if it was going to get any better.
Might work outside better, Anthony.
You got a boat?
I can go walk the dog.
Did the feedback stop?
It did.
Okay, sorry, that was me this one time.
Let me see if I can go put my headphones back on.
Yeah, Anthony, you put wireless headphones on, you turn off your video and you can wander around and take the dog out for, and come back in and nobody knows you're gone.
Exactly. That's, I'm going to go walk over and get the headphones again now.
Yeah.
Well, now that we know that, we can start asking Nimick questions.
Oh, I'm fully on. Haven't you, I just have to be careful about what I say, so.
How many fingers am I holding up?
One.
Yeah, I just saw one.
No, actually, I had all 5. Boy, I'm tired of this junk mail that we're getting about, oh, it's just right across your website.
They want to know if we want to, hey, Tony, they want to know if we want to extend the warranty on our vehicle.
No, I don't know which one this one is. I get so many of them. The ones that get me when they come in German or Spanish. I think we could probably set up a firewall for that.
You know what? I did not give you guys the newsletter.
I don't think I don't have
I
it.
got it.
You did?
I think it's
Yeah,
my
you didn't
headphones.
see it.
These ain't working.
I'll get it to everyone now.
Oh, it's not going to be a good meeting. Okay.
Technology problems, Anthony?
Yeah, I got my daughter's, doing her class. I can't hear from the headphones.
I know the feeling.
Or I can go hide. I'm gonna try to go upstairs maybe.
Okay, my wife, when she was doing meetings, occasionally the computer would hook up to my headphones if I was doing something else. The next thing I know, I was in a quilting meeting, so.
They're just scared.
I've got
Oh,
a-
boy.
I've got a coat
Okay.
and a mask ready to go in case I have to run down there.
Yeah. Anthony, I feel like I'm watching a bad, sci-fi or a thrill or a, stalker movie now.
Monkey cam, hold on.
Yeah.
Hey,
You gotta put on your back
I'm
then for
fine,
that.
yourself? Pretty good, that's good. I'm not sure I'm gonna make it through even talking through this thing.
Ah, you sound great, Steve.
I can hear you, but I can't see you. Tom, how you doing? How are you?
How about now, Anthony? You got us?
Yeah, I can hear you a little clearer. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're loud and clear.
Oh, you sound great.
Okay. All right. Got another 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
4 minutes.
He has to run fast.
And what time is the docking tonight is late, isn't it?
I hear Yatley, Harney, Neming.
Let me change my frequency.
Right, I have Moreno, Yatley, Nemick, Harney, and of course, Tom's here. And Tom's here, so we got 5. Well, we're missing Zima. Okay.
All right, you guys got that?
Yep.
You need the names of people?
No, I'm just
Yes.
curious who all, I hadn't seen anybody, I was just going off all voices.
There's the chief.
There's Chief.
Yeah, looking good.
Good evening, gentlemen.
The normal.
Evening,
three,
Chief.
Plus, Zima, Schuster, Dillinger, and. Well, Schuster's not in tonight, Engineer's not in tonight, Kyle's not in tonight. And then we're just missing Tom. We're just missing Don.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Oh, Monday Night Football. Oh, it's the the Bears. We're gonna have competition tonight.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, 5x5.
Okay, I just had to switch headphones.
Yep, I can hear you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Hey,
Yeah.
we also have competition from the SpaceX docking, so you better not go past like 9 o'clock, Steve.
Yeah, that launch was pretty cool last night.
It was very cool.
I got to see a space shuttle take off, God, about 15 years ago. Just amazing when you feel the pressure on your chest standing at the 3-mile mark.
I'm jealous. I've always wanted to see some kind of launch and never had the opportunity, so.
Crazy.
Okay, are we doing time wise? 7:29. 7:29, we got 7:30 coming up on the dot. Oh, okay. Okay, we've got 7:30. We've got at least one member of the public body physically present here at Village Hall. myself, Anthony Mills is the clerk, and Tom Merkel is a trustee. Governor Pritzker on Friday did once again renew the gubernatorial declaration of pandemic, and therefore the meetings are being held remotely for the village of Sleepy Hollow. This meeting should be recorded, and live in the building is myself, Tom Merkel's trustee, Anthony Mills is the clerk. On attending remotely, we have Ed Harney, Joe Nemick, Steve Diatley, and Anthony Perino. Can you gentlemen, and the chief of police, Mr. Chief Rivas, can you gentlemen hear me?
Yes.
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 We can hear all of you. Okay, let's call the meeting to order. The Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Roll call, please. Mr. Perino,
Present.
Mr. Gatley,
Here.
Mr. Nimick,
Here,
Mr. Ziemba, Mr. Merkel. Here. Mr. Harney.
Here.
5 out of 6. Okay, we've got a quorum, we have got a meeting. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of November 2nd, 2020?
Diatley, so moved.
Harney second.
Moved by Diatley, seconded by Harney. Any corrections to the minutes of November 2nd, 2020? There being none, roll call, please. Mr. Diatley,
Aye.
Mr. Nimick,
aye.
Mr. Merkel. Abstain. Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Nimick.
Aye.
Okay. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 affirmative votes and 1 abstention. The motion so passes.
I never heard you call me, Tony.
I thought I heard you call Anthony.
I did, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Anthony?
Aye.
4 affirmative and 1 abstention. Motion still passes. Okay, next item is the president's report. Before I get going onto that, just one quick comment in regards to the village codes. Calendar math is a difficult thing sometimes. And November 1st this year turned out to be on a Sunday. And our burning regulations for leaves are for October and November, and it's the 2nd and 4th weekend of the month. The first day being Sunday does not make the weekend. Therefore, that was not the first weekend of the month. The following weekend was the first weekend of the month. Last weekend was the second weekend of the month. This coming weekend is the third weekend of the month. The weekend after Thanksgiving will be the fourth weekend, and that will be a burn weekend. Okay. You got to have 2 days in the weekend, not 1 day in the weekend before it can count as the full weekend. I don't know. Calendar math can be tricky sometimes, but hopefully we'll get that squared away. Okay, on with the president's report. The coronavirus funds, the CARES Act is still going forward. We got a request last week for some more documentation. We prepared that. We forwarded it on forward to the county. We're still waiting for that. This next item is also going to be part of that CARES Act, if you recall. Remember, we got about $191,000. About $27,000 of that we've asked to have to spend for an upgrade to the audiovisual capabilities of the village so that we can conduct these meetings remotely going forward. And that brings me to point B. I would like a motion to authorize the expenditure not to exceed $26,820 for video audio upgrade equipment for the village hall.
So moved.
Second, Perino.
Moved by Merkel, seconded by Perino. to authorize the expenditure of $26,820 for the upgrade of video audio communications within the village. Any further comments, questions, or discussion?
Just a question, when the equipment is purchased and hopefully during 2021, we would be live again in the village hall. At that time, would we have the capability of still broadcasting the meetings via YouTube or live?
We could do that. Right now, we've got a requirement by the state to do it, which allows us to not attend in person. However, going forward, if the state revokes that, then while the members of the board may have to attend in person, we can still use the equipment for remote broadcasting or transmission of our meetings. Plus, that can be used during the week by any of the staff for various meetings instead of them commuting to, a remote location for a meeting.
Yeah, understood, because it'd be nice that we have the capability to show the meetings to residents in the future when we are live there. Okay, thank you.
Sure thing. There being no further comments or questions, roll call, please.
Mr. Moreno,
Aye.
Mr. Diatley,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Merkel,
Aye.
Mr. Harney.
We have got 5 affirmative votes and no negative votes. The motion so passes. Okay, that is it for the president's report. The next one is the clerk's report.
I have nothing to report tonight.
Thank you, Tony. Okay, for the record, Mr. Ziemba has just joined the meeting.
Do you have an extra agenda? I'm sorry.
There's one on the. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the planning and zoning report. Ms. Detmer?
This is a continuation from last meeting. Technically, the open meeting report, we were looking for approval for the Twin Oaks Baptist Church sign was the item that was held over. And then also we have the actual variance ordinance that should be before you. That was the one that you had voted last meeting to support, but the ordinance hadn't made it into the packet. So this is the ordinance that would grant the variance for 1298 Acorn Court, which is the portico on the front of the building, just to remind you what that was. So the ordinance is 2020-17, so we need a motion to approve that ordinance. Any single questions?
2020-17.
That is correct.
I would move to approve ordinance 2020-17, granting a variance request at 1298 Acorn Court.
Second, Diatley.
Moved by Merkel, seconded by Diatley to approve ordinance number 2020-17, an ordinance granting a variance request for 1298 Acorn Court. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? There being none, roll call, please.
Mr. Diatley,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Merkel,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Moreno,
Aye.
Mr. Zimba.
Abstain.
5 aye votes and 1 abstention. The motion so passes.
We have the Twin Oaks Baptist Church sign that was tabled for further discussion at this meeting.
The question I had, was that a replacement as is?
Basically, the only thing that's different on the new sign is they've actually put their website, which has nothing to do with the construction of it. They're using the one pillar that's still standing. They will be reconstructing the other pillar in the same exact location, and the sign is the same size.
So I know there were some questions about the past,
Yeah,
how this evolved, but it's just a replacement as is.
correct. And the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission was to approve it. And that was the request to the village board was to approve it. This does not require an ordinance, it just requires an
Acknowledgement of the
authorization
board.
for the building department to issue the sign.
Did everybody catch that?
I did, but it's not on the agenda, so we can't take
Yeah.
any kind of action or vote on it, correct?
That's what I'm concerned about, is I don't see it on the, I see,
Did I make a scrivener's error and not,
I think you got,
Open
you
meeting
got
report.
1298 Acorn twice.
I owe an apology to, everybody here about that, sorry. But the material was in the, agenda packet.
I have a question for you. I wasn't present at the last meeting, but reading the transcript, it sounded like there was a question, or maybe it was brought up in the discussion here about Randall being widened at some point, and maybe encroaching on that. Is the church been advised of that?
They are well aware of it. I don't know if a letter has come in, but I talked with the sign company and their feeling is if that's gonna be 10, maybe 15, maybe not happen. They want to get their sign back up so that at least they have something there. They're aware of the situation and they need, it looks a mess right now and they're trying to return it to a good look for the village as well as to get their location reestablished.
Okay. I mean, if we approve it, I would like just somewhere in the record very clearly to state that we advise them of that, so
Yes, sir.
that down the road, we have a habit of losing things here and not keeping track of things very well, so.
I understand, so, and I had asked the sign company for a letter from the church to include with the permit file. Oh, and it just got. Thank you, sir. And just for the record, it says Twin Oaks Baptist Church dated November 10th, 2020. To whom it may concern, Twin Oaks Baptist Church leadership is aware of the Randall Road over I-90 study being conducted currently and understands there may be a future time that the location of the sign must be moved should this project become a reality. With this understanding, it is our intention to install the replacement sign in the current location of the destroyed sign. Regards, Wayne Unger, Deacon and Trustee Jay Hunt, Trustee, and Jim Spiller, Trustee. So this will be included with the
Okay, thank you.
permit,
Okay.
if authorized to issue.
All right. Well, it doesn't sound like we're going to have any objections, but technicality is it's not on the agenda. They can't take formal action on it at this point. So we will have to put this on for December 7th. Move forward. Okay, anything else?
No, sir.
Sorry about that. I didn't catch it. I just moved on through and went on.
I understand it. I just saw the agenda tonight because I haven't been here. So
Okay,
thank you very much.
sure thing. Thank you, Ms. Detmer. Okay, attorney's report. The attorney's report has nothing this evening. We move to the engineers. He's got an update. And then he's got a proposal on the water main engineering study. Mr. Nemec is water trustee, or trustee in charge of the water, or overseeing the water, I should say. You want to take this on?
It's just for information now. We need to have Brian look at, and he's already looking at what it's going to cost to fund this as a project and the engineering. So I
Okay.
think just everybody keep it that this is what it's going to cost us, and this is, we got to keep working on this. So he said probably in the next month or so, he should have some numbers for us.
You're speaking finance?
Yeah, right, because we have no money in the budget to pay for the engineering study yet. So we need to figure out what
Okay,
we need to budget for the engineering study and what we need to budget for the project. And Brian is going to be working on that for us.
all right. Any questions from the rest of the gang?
What was the study going to take place? Not this calendar year.
We got to find the money before we can authorize the study, Anthony.
Right,
That's what Joe just said. He's
Right,
looking for the money.
I understand that, and the fee that is in the letter from the engineer was not to exceed a fee of $11,000.
Right.
So potentially, if monies were found, the budget goes through April of next year.
Correct.
So if monies were found between now and some point then this project, the engineer would have a green light to begin the study based
Not
on.
yet, you haven't approved the study.
I understand. I'm just asking
Yeah.
that.
If you approve the study and we've got the money, then the engineer gets the green light.
Right.
And we're
And-
gonna,
Now we gotta find the money, and then we gotta find out whether or not you're going to authorize it.
okay, thank you.
And Anthony, just for clarification, this would come out of the water, I believe it's enterprise fund,
Water fund and not the general fund.
not the
Correct.
general fund. So it's a kind of a different budget item. And right now they're digging through some issues with the water meters and some other stuff that needs to be all corrected up. So I'm not even sure anybody knows exactly how much money is in there to budget for it. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. No, thank you, Anthony.
Okay, so this is right now an FYI, and we will revisit it at a later date. Okay, thank you, Joe. Finance, accounts payable.
Can I see the report, Mr. Let me get a. I move that we approve the accounts payable warrants of November 16th, 2020 in the amount of $252,220.86.
Second.
Moved by Ziemba, seconded by Merkel to approve the accounts payable of November 16, 2020 in the amount of $252,220 and
86 cents.
86 cents. Any additions, deletions, comments, questions? There being none, roll call, please.
Mr. Datley,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Merkel,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Moreno,
Aye.
Mr. Zimmer.
Aye.
6 affirmative votes, no negative votes, the motion so passes. Okay, that's it for Director of Finance, public comments. No public comments this evening? Okay, move on to trustees' reports, roads and parks. Mr. Harney.
Kyle has extended an invitation to any trustee that wants to take a look at the new plow truck. It's quite a piece of machinery. I think it'll serve the residents well. He's also extended an invitation to ride with him,
I'll take
preferably
on that.
on the 1 a.m. plow schedule. I did it, not at that time, but it's pretty fascinating. Helps you understand the challenges involved by keeping the village roads cleared up. Other than that, no new business. Nothing to report.
Got one question for you, Ed.
Yep.
Does the passenger seat have a shock?
Yes, it
In the
does.
truck?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Were they using that truck today to cut down some tree over on Bullfrog?
I know they cut it down. I don't know which truck they used.
Okay. And reach out to Kyle to make my appointment?
You're top of the list.
I would love it, man.
No, I'm serious. It's pretty fascinating.
I am too. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ed. Finance, Don?
Oh, the October expense and budget report was, I can't remember what my work schedule, was that the report I sent out to you guys, was it that October? I sent the email out last time?
You sent the last one out late October,
For the last meeting?
the last meeting.
Okay, so that one we talked about.
Right.
I see the proposed tax levy next to 845. Has the accountant put any of that together yet? We're gonna have a budget meeting?
The tax levy, he's just got the estimate. We've not done
He
the
hasn't
rest
looked
of
at
it. He's
Okay.
looked at it, he's prepared, but technically, by law, we have to make this announcement in the minutes
In December. Oh, yeah. no, when the-
21 days
yeah,
before the levy is passed.
yeah, no,
So that's the announcement today is, we're looking at an estimate of $845,000 in property taxes next year.
All right, so I gotta make a motion for that, or is just?
No, it just has to be read into the minutes of this. I don't know why. There's no- We just have to record it in the minutes that this is what we expect. And we have to do it 21 days before the meeting which we adopt the tax levy.
Okay, and so
So,
I've got a few things I wanna talk about in old business, but one other question, what's going on with the audit?
the audit, we have been given a extension on due to the pandemic.
Okay,
Things are running a little slower. They were in last week. They think they're gonna, be able to wrap it up in a couple of weeks.
okay, then
But we did get an extension on that.
okay. That's it for now, I just have something I wanna bring up in old business.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Don. Water and sewer, Joe?
The only thing I have is part of the TMA proposal was also electronic or online bill payment billing where residents would not get bills. And also, part of it was the stickers for automobiles and dog licenses and that totally electronic. So Mr. Florence has graciously offered at no cost to the village in his time to put together a short survey of just those two questions, if it was available, if people would use it on the village website and put it on the back of the water bill. And that way we could see if there was a lot of interest, if it could be a money savings for us or not. So he has graciously offered to do that.
Thank you, John.
That's all I have.
Any idea when TMA will go live, Joe?
I have not heard from Wendy at all, so I assume she's working diligently on that. Have you talked to her at all, Steve, or?
I just told her last week that the contract had been signed and returned and that she should make contact to continue the update.
My understanding, what might take a couple months to get it going, but I will talk to Wendy tomorrow and get an update on that, so.
Okay. All right, thank you, Joe. Police and public safety, Steve?
You will note in your packet, you have a letter from the chief on one more longevity bonus that we have out there for our records clerk, Rebecca Freeman. So I would like to make a motion that we go ahead and grant the $1,500 longevity bonus to clerk Rebecca Freeman.
Arnie, second.
Moved by Diatley, seconded by Harney to grant the longevity bonus to records clerk Becky Freeman. Any further comments, questions, or discussion?
I think with her service to this village, she's more than entitled to it.
I agree.
Just a general question, does longevity bonus go into effect each year for those individuals that achieve that year of service?
Correct. Goes to the base pay.
Thank you.
So that's like a raise now she's getting, okay?
No further comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Merkel,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Moreno,
Aye.
Mr. Zimmer.
Nay,
4 affirmatives, 1 negative, motion so passes.
wait, don't we have 5 affirmatives?
5, did I say
You
5?
said 4.
Oh, I'm sorry, 5 affirmatives and 1 negative. That makes 6. And motion so passes. Thank you for the correction, Don. Anything else, Steve?
No, that's all tonight.
Okay, thank you, sir. Buildings and environment, Tom?
I don't have actually a building and environment report, but there have been a couple comments by a resident on Crane about my signs, and I wanted to respond to those. I don't know if I should do it here or under old business.
I would do that under new business.
New business, okay, I just
I mean,
prepared a little.
it's actually personal between you and him.
It's personal?
Well, that's what you're saying. You want to make rebuttal to him. He's got a comment.
Well,
to you.
it's not personal when it's in the minutes of
Okay.
the village, so it's not personal.
I'll give you a top 4 time.
But I would just like to
Sure.
make some comments,
Okay.
just so people don't think I'm ignoring it.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Tom. Building and zoning, Anthony?
Just want to thank President Pickett for mentioning the November odd date with burning. I did submit a a calendar going through June to the village clerk. I'm just wondering, is that something we can put in? It was a calendar that listed the second and fourth weekend of every month through June of 2021. Why did I stop at June? Just because. But is that something that we can put on the website? That would be my,
It probably could be. I mean, it's in there already in the code book if somebody, but if you've got it highlighted.
yeah.
Of course, you gotta be careful because burning is illegal, except leaf burning is illegal, except only in October and November.
Right, but other people,
Yard waste burning, which is brush, is allowed the second and fourth weekend of the month.
right, twigs and things, right.
Right. So you're gonna have to be careful about differentiating, the leaf burning from the brush burning.
All right,
But if you've got something you want to put together and submit for insertion on the website or on the newsletter, let's see it, Anthony.
Tony, do you have a copy? Did you get that last week?
No, I didn't.
It was a attachment. Okay, I'll resend it tomorrow, and I'll update it by putting in the leaf burning deadline, which is would be the last weekend of November. The fourth weekend of November. That's the last burn weekend of November.
Right.
Okay.
Do you know, and, oh, sorry, Anthony, I thought you were
No.
done. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Do you know, just reference to that? I do know it was very cloudy of smoke. Do we know if we issued many tickets that weekend?
Well, I know I had reached out to the police department. We had a few people burning middle of the week for some reason. And I know I actually was fortunate to stop a squad coincidentally going by, but I did not hear if anybody, I think it was probably just warnings. I think that when we see this happening on the odd weekends in particular, that, we should just be reaching out to the department so that they can go out there and at least get the resident to stop the burn at a minimum. And, just some education, say, hey, you're burning on an illegal weekend. Because I got calls from residents saying, the smoke was bothersome because the weather was pretty nice and it was the wrong weekend. So, but I didn't get anything official that they were fined, just possibly cited. Chief, do you have an update if any of and the one in particular on one of the streets, if they were notified to stop?
Absolutely. As you know, we received several complaints on open burning, and each time an officer went out and we just tried to educate the public. Majority of them were not aware of the burning ordinance. So we instructed them the second and fourth weekend and moved on from there. And they all agreed to put it out. None of them were argumentative whatsoever. So hopefully moving forward, they'll comply with the ordinance.
I know I stopped and talked to a resident because they were burning and they were mortified. The confusion was, it was a one-day weekend, but then I think if everybody thinks of weekends as a two-day thing, that would clear it up. But that was the confusion this month.
Yep.
Yeah.
Calendar math.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief, for following up with that. That's all I had in my report.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. Okay, moving on to old business. 874 Winmore Court, or not Winmore Court, Winmore. Mr. Kopaz has presented a cost-sharing proposal for the replacement of the culverts along Winmore in front of his house. And if you look at the agenda, you'll see that he's provided the cost estimates on those two. Okay, so Mr. Kopaz, you're willing to contribute $1,872.94 to this project?
No, $2,000 for each
Okay,
culvert.
for each culvert. For a total of, is this for one culvert or two?
No, two.
2.
Okay.
So the remaining cost is,
Oh, there it is. The remaining cost would be up to you whether you go with the $9,000 that the engineers was suggesting, 9 to 11,000, or somewhere north of that, because he said it could be as much as about $26,000, depending upon how far up the hill you go.
I talked to Kyle and he thought it would be between $11,000 and $12,000 for the entire project.
Okay. Kyle's estimate is, what'd you say, 11 to 12,000?
11 to 12 for the entire project. I don't know where the 26 came from and how that confused the issue, but that's what Kyle priced it out.
Okay, that figure came from another swale restoration that we did. And
Uh-huh.
per foot cost of that swale restoration. And just used it across that footage that he was looking at over there on Winmore. That's where the 26,000 came from.
Okay.
So if he went in there and he probably wouldn't do the whole thing exactly the same way as the other one, but he gave us a dollar amount to use on a running foot.
Okay. Well, that conversation that I had with Kyle was 11 to 12 grand.
Okay.
I think that's what we were looking for the last meeting.
Okay. So we got, let's take Kyle's estimate at 12K as the high end. And Mr. Lopez is offering to contribute 2,000 towards that. What is the board's thought on this?
I've said before, I still need to know that it was something that we did or didn't do that caused this. I don't know. I wasn't at the last meeting if the engineer gave us the word on that or not. And then I understand also that Mr. Schuster didn't think that our insurance carrier would get involved, but I would still like to explore that before we dig in our.
Yeah. My personal feeling is the evidence I have from the two experts, and I'm no experts, is that the culvert was at the end of its service life, from what Kyle had said and what the village engineers had said. So, and I just, as I brought up again, I just looking at several things, and assuming that that's galvanized CMP, and then everything I'm reading on the internet says 15 to 40 years. I think that pipe was over 35 years old. So I might consider some kind of prorated part of the project, but I don't feel, from what I've heard from our experts, that the water main breaks contributed significantly to the failure of that.
That was the impression I got when reading the engineer's report.
Yeah, I would agree, because I know we said that there hadn't been any water main breaks in that area for over about the past 2 years. So, I don't feel that in that aspect that we could literally pay for this. And I appreciate the opportunity for the resident to offer to pay for part of it, but I don't feel like we should be responsible for the other, if you're looking at 12 grand, the other 10 grand, I could not support that.
Did the engineer say anything about, forgetting the water main breaks? Did he say anything about us failing to maintain the swales, which caused the problem downstream, since that area's pitch there? Did he say anything about that?
What I remember him saying, Tom, was that they thought the culvert rusted through, and then once that happened, the water that came through the culvert then washed underneath it and started washing everything out. And that's what caused some of the cave in of the pavement on top as well. That's my recollection of it. If anybody else has anything different.
No, I concur. And I believe he also, either him or Kyle, said something that swale actually had been probably maintained better than some of the other swales in town that had some work done to it in the past. So.
So Mr. Lopez is here with us this evening.
Yeah, I'd like to add that, that swale and that culvert has been a problem for 20 years. And nothing's been done to stop the problem from occurring, which is what I'm getting at. I've also wanted to point out again that before my swale is where that ground sunk about 3 feet deep. So we spoke with Jeff while we were outside there one time. I explained that to him, and he said, well, yeah, water runs downhill. If that water main was leaking, it would run down, it would follow that pipe down there. Okay. And the water main leaks were 2 of them this year. Okay. So because of the age of the swale is the reason that I'm offering pay for the culvert pipes, I should say, is the reason I'm looking to pay for those. Okay, I'd have to replace them sometime. And I'd like to replace them now when you're doing the rest of the work. So I feel that it's very fair for me to replace those pipes along with the additional flares necessary on both culverts, and that the village would pick up the balance because of the problems that have occurred there. And the problems that have been occurring there for the last 20 years. I'm also hopeful that when it is restored, that something is done to prevent what's been happening there for the last 20 years. Thank you.
Let me ask just a question, not of you, but if we say we're not going to do anything, and Mr. Lopez hires someone and at his expense puts in the 2 pipes and covers it with blacktop or whatever, he's not going to probably touch that hole in the swale. What happens then? Is it just going to erode under that pipe? It's not. I don't think he has the right to, even if he wanted to grade our swales or to fill in our swales. I recall a house up in Saddle Club where people put gravel in their swales and the village made them take it all out. So if he puts it, the pipe is a couple feet above the bottom of the swale, then what happens at that point?
I believe at the last meeting, Kyle said that his intention was to go there and repair that damage and put some riprap to slow down the flow of the water down the stream. So I think that's already been taken care of and agreed to.
I kind of like the good old days of the village where we just get out there with a dump truck and fill it in and not get involved with engineer fees and this and that studies, and they just got the job done. I'm not criticizing anybody here, but it used to seem like they would just get a dump truck and dump some.
Well, they did, and they caused us a few problems down the road.
So everything is so expensive with the engineer and studies, and then Mark's got to draft things and this and that, and it's just
Yep.
It's not the good old days anymore, I guess.
What's the board's consensus here, gentlemen?
I would say that that we do not do anything with the swale. The resident can replace the culverts on his own and fixes the driveway part there, and that we just move forward.
Yeah. Is that it? We got Anthony proposes that we just move forward. Thank him for his offer, but at this point, we just move on. Is that
Just for clarification to Ed, didn't Kyle say that he could go out there and pretty simply fix the hole in the swale and put some riprap in there to slow down the velocity of the water with materials he had in stock for no cost?
That was my understanding, but wasn't that going to be a temporary fix?
I think for several, it would last for several years or until we had a huge storm, but he thought that
Yeah,
the
it would
engineer thought so we could.
It'd be kicking the can down the road. I do need to say, it would be in the village's interest to have this fixed once and for all. I sure can't see picking up the balance, but I wouldn't be totally against helping out in a small way with the balance. Like I say, because it is in the village's interest, get this repaired once and for all.
You want to you got an estimate from Kyle of 11 to 12,000. How much is that you want to do the whole thing? You want to say part of that, Ed, or?
Oh, no. I was going to say a small part of the balance.
And if we're gonna spend any money out of the limited budget for drainage, I'd like to have the swale fixed so that we could do something as far as the drainage. I'm really not in favor of, I don't feel like we've caused any damage to that, to the culvert that was failing anyway. So I'm all for fixing the swale uphill.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Okay, so we're in agreement that we do the uphill and Mr. Lopez can do the culverts?
But isn't
I'm
the
good with
swale uphill, the $12,000 number?
That's where Joe's saying that we can put in some riprap and do some
It's not
minor work up there.
It's not a permanent solution, but I believe the engineer and Kyle said it would last for.
Only a portion of that 11K that Kyle was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that was with stone that we had in stock and Kyle's time in stock. I don't even think he needed water services to help him out with that. Did he, Ed?
No.
No, that's just all, no engineering, no nothing, just going out there and doing a few, some simple things.
I would be for that. If Kyle can do that, I would be agreeable to that.
I know Kyle is agreeable to help in any way possible to keep the costs down, but he can only do so much.
Right. Yeah, I understand that.
So what we're saying is that Kyle, as the Public Works Director, would put in some material to fill the uphill area that has sunk, and that would be the extent of the village involvement with this project. And then the resident would pay the $2,000 for replacing the culverts that are in his driveway. Is that what we're saying?
It sounds like where it's going, Anthony.
At the moment, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need any type of a motion then, or what
If
do we?
you would like to seal it up, yeah. then
Well,
that's-
I'd like to make a motion then that the Public Works Director put in the amount of riprap or material to fill the swale area that has sunk, and that's the extent of the village involvement with the project.
Second.
Moved by Moreno, seconded by Ziemba to authorize the Public Works Department to fill in the swale as best they can with riprap. Is that it, Anthony?
Yes, that would summarize it, yes.
Okay. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? There being none, roll call, please. Mr.
Steve, can you read the motion again, one more time, please?
Anthony,
I can.
motion that was seconded by Ziemba was to authorize Public Works to improve the swale condition at the least expensive option available, which seems to be riprap at the moment.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. And we had no other further comments, questions, or discussion. The clerk was asked to read the roll.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Merkel,
All right.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Moreno,
Aye.
Mr. Zimba.
Aye.
We've got 6 affirmatives and no negatives, so that motion would so pass. Mr. Kopaz. That's the offer of the village is that they will come out and remedy what they can to the swale in the near future.
Not to my liking.
Okay. That's where it stands at the moment. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure thing. All right, next item, Anthony, did you want to continue with item B or did you want to withdraw that?
I would like to continue with item B, Mr. President. I'll keep it brief.
Okay,
So the item B under old business was develop a referendum question to be voted on by the residents on the April 2021 ballot to allow sheds in the village with a permit and yearly inspection fee. We ran out of time at the last meeting, so I decided to bring it back up at this meeting. And basically, what I'm asking us to do, and I wish Mr. Schuster might have been present tonight, but in any event, what I would like to do here is, I'm going to make a motion, and then we can discuss it, and we'll go from there. So I would like to make a motion to authorize the village attorney to create a referendum to allow outdoor sheds to be permitted in the village with certain dimensional requirements, and that this referendum would appear on the April 2021 ballot.
I'll second for the sake of discussion.
okay, Merkel seconded, Moreno motion, Merkel seconded to authorize the village attorney to draft a referendum question for the April 2021 ballot to authorize the construction of sheds within the village. Okay, any comments, questions, or discussion?
Yeah, so just let me start just by prefacing it, two things. One is it would not be a binding referendum, but I believe it would be a good opportunity for us as a board to poll the residents and see what all the residents that vote, and we had about 450 residents voted the last April consolidated election, to see what their thoughts are in allowing this to take place. The second thing is the referendum, from the research I've done through the Illinois for the statutes, the referendum needs to be presented 78 days prior to the April consolidated election. So we do have some time. And then the third thing is, I know there'll be financial costs with the attorney to create the referendum. And then there's a series of signatures that we would have to get. And I would head this up with 2 or 3 residents that in the past have expressed some interest in this.
Anthony,
Yes, sir.
you do not need signatures on a petition if the board sponsors the referendum.
Okay, I was reading.
Here's in the two. The board can ask the attorney to draft the resolution and put the resolution question on the ballot. Or the residents can petition to do it.
Okay, well, all
We're
right.
asking the board to authorize the village attorney to draft this.
Yeah, yes, that's what I'm asking. So,
Okay.
thank you. That's my part of the discussion.
Okay.
Anthony, then are you, since what you said, are you amending your motion to make it an advisory or,
It would be advisory.
okay. Yeah, I don't think he said that.
He did. He said it would be a non-binding.
I thought he said that after he made the motion. Though. Did he say that?
Well, I can.
I don't think he could, personally, I don't think that type of a question can be a binding question.
You can't?
No.
Okay.
It's just, you know,
Okay. All right, just want to make sure that he's talking about non-binding and we're not voting on a binding one, so. that's-
right. It'd be like the left turn off of Sleepy Hollow Road.
Right,
That was a non-binding
Yeah, I think
question
you're
too.
So we have nothing budgeted for this, and as I recall, the last time we talked about doing something like this, it's a rather expensive proposition for the village to do it because of the attorney fees and the writing it up and getting it directed. But if a residence, and it's not that many signatures, if a resident presents it to the board, it's relatively cheap for us. Is there any cost involved to us then, Steve?
If they present it to us or if they present it to the county clerk. If they present it to us to file, then yes, we're gonna still have, you know, it's still gonna have to go to the attorney for review.
If they present it to the county
But
clerk,
if they circulate the petition and just deliver it to the county clerk, it's no cost to us.
and as I recall, it was really expensive last time. So I think before we vote on this, I'd like to know what the fees would be for the various options.
That was exactly the point I was going to make. I like the idea of referendums. I like hearing from the residents, and I'll go with whatever the village residents decide. But the cost of it, that's the question that I had. What is it going to cost the village to proceed with this?
Well, if we go back to Anthony's second suggestion, when he said he had volunteers to circulate petitions, they could do their own referendum drive and have that question put at no cost to the village.
But there'd be a cost to the
But if we come up
residents.
with the attorney in to draft the question and put it on the ballot, then we're going to pay those fees.
There's for an individual to do it, there's a cost where, let's say the group of residents who would want to submit this referendum would have to hire their own attorney to have this completed. So there's a cost to them to do this.
Well, it depends. They might find a neighbor that'll do it for them for free, Anthony.
I believe that's what happened. We've had several of these in the
That's what
past, Anthony,
We've had
that
numerous petitions presented in the past, and this is what they do. They find an attorney that will work pro bono for them. And it's usually a neighbor or a resident.
I understand. My initial motion was that the village.
Your initial motion was that the village do it.
Yeah.
That's correct, yeah.
Joe's expressed his concerns. Tom's expressed his concerns. Ed's expressed his. Steve?
Well, a couple things come to mind. One, I'm all for referendums and getting to know what people are looking for in the village. Since this is a non-binding referendum, is this really merit to be put on the ballot, to be asked? I mean, isn't that what we're elected for as trustees of the village? In my 19 years here, I've had one person tell me they want a shed. My opinion, as long, I'm worried about the cost as well. I don't want to spend a ton of money to get it on there, just if it's a non-binding referendum. For things that I feel like we could probably accomplish in maybe a survey or something of that nature, getting more input that way.
Based on our past experience,
Go ahead, Don.
based on our past experience, didn't it cost us like $4 to $6 grand to have Mark involved with referendums before?
Well, if we get into public hearings.
Yeah.
You know, what I find refreshing here is I've sat on the board and I've sat out and watched trustees deal with these kind of things. And they, some would say, well, you know what, the village elected me, so I kind of know what's best. And the thing with our village, when we're elected or we're appointed, people really don't know what we are. A lot of times there's just enough running to fill the board. So I'm glad I'm not hearing from everybody. Well, I like what I heard from Ed, let's hear from the residents. That I'm elected, so I'll decide whether you're having sheds or not. I like that attitude, Ed. So
I agree with Ed's statement too. I just want to make sure that is it possible we could do it through a survey instead of going through the expense of putting it on a referendum on the ballot?
That's always an option. Yep.
Yes, and in the past, we've had several referendums on various things and that residents have presented, and it's good to get, as I said, with that is 100%. I think it's worthwhile, but our budget is so tight. I just can't see, spending several $1,000s on something on this right now.
From what I'm hearing from everybody, no one's against the referendum. It's just the money involved. So the cheaper we can do it, the more you may find favor in getting a referendum.
I appreciate everybody's consideration. This is the second time I brought this up, and I just thought I would do it from top down instead of bottom up. At the same time, there was going to be some, potential yearly cost to have one and so forth. But that's fine. I'll just call for the vote on my motion.
No further comments, questions, or discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Dattley,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Can I pause?
I'm sorry?
that was for,
Ed,
that was
Ed? Yay or nay?
Ed.
For the motion as it stands,
But the
without
motion as it
knowing the
stands.
cost.
Right,
We don't even know what the cost is now, do we?
no.
No.
We don't know what the
Oh,
cost
okay.
is. Yeah, see, Steve, yeah.
That's why I jumped in there, guys.
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah, I was confused there.
Yeah,
Anthony, do you want to table this to the next conversation until Mark can give us a ballpark figure about what it would
No.
cost?
Well,
You wanna vote?
No,
I got a vote started, gentlemen.
can I just make sure everybody understands the motion, Mr.
The
President?
motion, I restated the motion. It is to authorize the village attorney to draft a referendum question concerning sheds in a non-binding style referendum.
Correct. Thank you.
I would ask Deatley again.
Deatley has answered the vote as an affirmative.
Diatley did not understand what was being asked there.
Okay. All right, let's back this up 6 feet and try it again. All right, any further comments, questions, or discussion on Mr. Perino's motion? Mr. Perino has made a motion to authorize the village attorney to draft a non-binding referendum question concerning the placement of sheds within the village. There being no further comments or questions or discussion, a call for a roll call.
Mr. Dattley,
No.
Mr. Harney,
nay,
Mr. Merkel,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Nay.
Mr. Perino,
Aye.
Mr. Zamba.
Nay.
4-2, four negatives, 2 affirmatives. The motion does not pass.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. Any other old business to come before the board?
I think mine's probably really under old business rather than a new business.
Okay,
So a resident over on Crane has objected to the signs I have in my yard. So I prepared a little thing I'm going to read into here, and if you could just listen, then I have a couple of comments afterwards. I have 2 signs in my yard. One says Trump 2020 MAGA. The other says God bless the USA. I put these signs up after some cowardly moron vandalized my smaller cardboard signs by painting the words cunt, fuck Trump, BLM, and other profanities on the signs. These signs were found in a garbage can in Sabletino Park near where the same moron spray painted fuck Trump in 3-foot letters on the pavement on Thoroughbred Lane. A resident on Crane Drive has sent a few letters to the board complaining about my signs and a sign on Acord supporting President Trump. I don't think he has specifically stated what his objection is to my signs, whether he hates President Trump, God, or the United States, or as I suspect, perhaps all 3. Curiously, he did not mention two large Biden-Harris signs on Winmore, which leads me to believe he only objects to large signs supporting President Trump out in our country. I guess he put his Democrat blinders on when he drove down Winmore. I was not present at the meeting of November 2. The resident sent an email to President Pickett to be read into the record. In complaining about my signs, he stated, quote, "Do we live in a village where anything goes? Do we live in a village where we have elected officials believe they are above the law? Everyone is entitled to believe what they wish, but they need to convey their beliefs in conformance with the sign ordinance, and the village needs to enforce it," close quotes. This resident doesn't care about our village sign ordinances. If he did, he would have complained about the Biden-Harrison signs too. It's all about politics with this guy. If he actually reads the sign ordinance, he will see that he is in violation of the ordinance with the Black Lives Matter sign posted in his yard. There is no provision in our ordinance for a sign of that type of sign. Only, quote, temporary election campaign signs, close quotes, are allowed. So to the self-righteous residents, I say, take down your Black Lives Matter sign to show your concern and respect for our sign ordinance. Sweep in front of your own door. You are a hypocrite and a Democrat Party hack. Shame on you for trying to stop others from expressing their political views. I understand you may be associated with the Dundee Township Democrat group. You are exactly what is wrong with the Democrat Party. You're a hypocrite.
Tom, that was a political statement, but an out and out.
It's calling a spade a spade.
This is a village business.
Yeah, it's calling a spade. That's part of the record. I have the right to respond to it. You know, he's in violation of the ordinance. Get the police over there. And you know what? I don't want the police over there because he has rights of free speech just as I do. Okay. Our sign ordinance, if you look at the United States Supreme Court, it's in violation of the Constitution. It's unconstitutional to try to regulate signs like that. Have our village attorney look at it. It needs to be adjusted. And this man needs a sweep in front of his own door. I'm not going to stand by and have him accuse me of things and put my address on the record. No, I have a right to say what I have to say. I don't need you to cut me off.
You're taking it to a personal level. And
it is a personal level.
This is not the place for personal discussions of that nature.
Then did you stop him? Did you read it into the record last time when
he said it as public comment?
Right, and you read it in. So that's public record, and it said it was going in our records verbatim. So they put.
Any other old business to come before the board?
Yeah, I had a couple things. When our finance director left last year, I thought I remember hearing that some of the MFT reports had not been done. You know, we had a file report of the year,
Right.
2018, 19, and 20. Have any of these been filed?
We'd have to check with them. I don't recall. I know they've been working on the accounts.
When you say they, the
Well,
accountants or the MFT or
the Lauterbach and Alman,
okay,
the
Right.
finance guy.
okay, and then the other, we recovered, the other one was the promissory note we had talked about in last year's budget, how.
On the water, he's looking into that too.
Okay, so that's still in the works, so we haven't put that together yet?
No.
Okay. And you know, we were, just one other comment, we were talking about the tax referendum for sheds. I have a feeling we're gonna have to start looking at another tax referendum to increase property taxes like we did a couple years ago. That's my only comment. So that's it for old business.
Okay, any other old business come before the board? No old business, any new business come before the board?
Motion to adjourn?
Second, Diatley.
Moved by Nemec, seconded by Diatley to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dudley,
Aye.
Mr. Harney,
Aye.
Mr. Merkel,
Aye.
Mr. Nimitz,
Aye.
Mr. Pareno,
Aye.
Mr. Zimba.
Aye.
6 affirmative votes. We are adjourned. We will see you all on December 7th, an infamous day to remember.
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good evening.
And,
Night. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, and
Night.
you all have a good Thanksgiving. Stay safe and stay
Did you
well.
give me a hard copy
Yep.
report this week?
No, I didn't.
Thank you all.
I was going to ask you, if you want to
Thank you,
fill it
Jerry.
out during the meeting.
Okay, Jerry.
It's 100 and some pages, so.